He possessed the power to bring the dead back to life and to make dry, lifeless trees turn green again. But even with such abilities, he could not stop himself from growing old. In order to gain the power of immortality, he began forging a legendary sword. All he had to do was embed that gem into the sword during an eclipse, and he would live forever. But his young apprentice Koschei saw everything. Jealousy took root in Kosch's heart, and he soon fell into darkness. Just as his ritual was about to be completed, Koschei attacked him without warning. He dropped a massive stone on him and stole the power of immortality for himself. He buried him deep beneath the earth. For 1,000 years he remained trapped, consumed by darkness, waiting for the moment he could return to the world above. After a long time, a young girl stumbled upon his cursed flower. Unable to resist her curiosity, she reached out to touch it. At that very moment, a thorn pricked her finger. Her elder sister, who had come looking for her, was also unable to escape the flower's magic, and her finger was forcefully pierced as well. As soon as it happened, the younger sister suddenly fell into a coma. Her eyes turned white and black veins began spreading across her entire body. The same fate soon started affecting the elder sister. Terrified, they both rushed to the most famous witch in the village. The witch noticed the strange black veins on the girl's body and immediately cut off a lock of her hair to see the future. In an instant, thick smoke began to rise, and dark energy started swirling around. That night, a voice suddenly echoed inside both of their minds. It was him calling them back to that cabin. Before they could even understand what was happening, vines emerged from the ground and tightly bound them. From the darkness, he offered them a deal. He would grant them immense power, but only if they helped him retrieve that magical sword so that he could free himself and once again return to the world above. At the beginning of the film, a group of warriors are shown in a forest, searching for someone. At the same time, Evan is introduced, who appears very different from them, as if he doesn't belong to their world. He is the son of King Aurelia, the ruler of that land. When he was a child, to protect him from powerful forces, his father used a magical sword to send him to another world. From childhood to adulthood, Evan grew up in London. Now, following his father's command, he has returned to his original magical world. As the warriors move forward in the forest, an old man stops them and tells them about a strange creature that has been killing the village animals and is now a threat to everyone's lives. He says he saw this creature near the cricket field. Hearing this, all the warriors prepare themselves and take out their weapons. Suddenly, something attacks them. The attacking creature looks like a football. In reality, it is a strange monster, the same creature the old man mentioned. It has no lower body beneath its head, yet it is extremely powerful. It attacks them from multiple directions, but eventually one of the warriors named Finish traps the creature inside his bag. After that, they return to their city, White City. The scene then shifts to the city market, where a little girl is shown wandering around, extremely hungry and searching for food. She steals an apple from a woman's basket and runs away. The woman notices her, but the girl hides in a corner and starts eating the apple. Suddenly, she notices a glowing light nearby. Curious, she walks toward it and discovers a shining flower. As she tries to pluck it, a thorn pricks her finger, causing it to bleed. At that moment, the same woman whose apple she stole arrives there. Instead of scolding her, the woman hugs the girl and asks where she came from and where her parents are. Then her attention is drawn to the glowing flower. She also tries to pluck it, but a thorn pricks her as well, making her bleed. Suddenly, the flower sinks into the ground, revealing that it wasn't an ordinary flower but some kind of magical power. The next scene shows Evan arriving at his house in the magical world. His home is filled with all the modern items he used in London, like a fridge, washing machine, oven, and TV. To power all these, he has set up a generator outside his house. Soon, Alicia, the film's heroine, arrives. Evan and Alicia love each other and have even planned to get married. Suddenly, all the electrical items in Evan's house stop working. He rushes outside and sees a guard destroying his generator, mistaking it for some kind of creature. Evan argues with the guards, revealing that this is the second generator they have destroyed in a week. On the other side, the woman takes the little girl to her home, but the girl suddenly collapses and becomes unconscious. The woman gets scared seeing her condition. She notices strange marks appearing on the girl's body, and soon similar marks begin appearing on her own body as well. Meanwhile, Evan goes to his father King Aurelius' palace, where the magical sword is kept, the same sword that had sent him to the human world during his childhood. He picks up the sword and swings it, creating a portal through which he travels back to London. There, he buys a lot of food and supplies as he often brings such things back to the magical world. At the same time, the woman takes the girl to an old witch known for her knowledge of herbs and cures. However, upon seeing the girl, the witch becomes terrified and declares that the child is possessed by a dark evil force. She advises the woman to drown the child immediately. Furious, the woman refuses to believe her and leaves with the girl. Back in the magical world, Evan returns again, where his father asks him to participate in the kingdom's grand tournament, a competition where the bravest and strongest warriors display their skills. But Evan refuses, saying he is neither brave nor strong like his father. This deeply disappoints the king. The next scene shows a warrior named Cyrus from King Aurelia's army returning after capturing a demonic creature. He had been on the mission for 2 days. The entire city welcomes him and celebrates his bravery. However, Evan finds this display exaggerated, as he knows Cyrus often boasts about his achievements, especially in front of Alicia. Soon the tournament begins. Warriors display their strength and skills, impressing the crowd. Cyrus also performs impressively, gaining admiration from both the people and Alicia. King Aurelia again urges Evan to participate, but he refuses. Everyone in the kingdom believes Evan lacks the qualities of a true prince. He is neither brave nor wise like his father. People respect him only because he is the king's son. Suddenly, 2 witches appear in the sky above the gathering, and the scene cuts to a flashback from the previous night. The woman and the little girl return to the spot where the glowing flower had appeared. Suddenly, strange vines emerge from the ground and wrap around them, lifting them into the air. They fall completely under the control of a dark demon, who transforms them into new forms and orders them to retrieve the magical sword from the king's palace. Back in the present, the 2 transformed witches, named Galena and Varvara, arrive at the palace. Galena casts a spell on the king's soldiers, distorting their faces and turning them against the king. Varvara, who is a powerful witch, learns that the sword is inside the palace. She transforms herself and flies into the palace to steal it. Meanwhile, chaos erupts as the enchanted soldiers attack everyone. Finnish and Alicia fight bravely against them. The old witch from the forest also joins the battle, along with a powerful wizard who had earlier helped Evan travel between worlds. During the chaos, the demonic creature captured earlier escapes. Amid all this, Varvara successfully steals the magical sword and tries to escape. At that moment, Evan throws his mobile phone at her, hitting her and causing the sword to fall from her hands. Varvara also crashes to the ground. Evan quickly picks up the sword and hands it over to his father. However, when King Aurelia tries to use the sword, it no longer works properly. It is revealed that Evan had used the sword too many times to travel between worlds, which weakened its power. The king then gives the sword back to Evan and orders him to flee, telling him to protect it at all costs. Evan escapes along with Finnish, Alicia, Cyrus, and the old witch. Before leaving, he also takes the captured creature with him. Meanwhile, Galena sends Varvara and some soldiers after them to retrieve the sword. As they flee through the forest, the enemy soldiers chase them. The old witch uses her magic to create illusions. She summons moving objects, including a hut that appears to cross the river, making the enemies believe that the group has escaped to the other side. In reality, however, Evan and his companions are hiding inside a hollow tree trunk near the riverbank, successfully deceiving their pursuers. There, Evan asks the old witch who those people were and why they were after the sword. She tells him that the devil has returned and wants to obtain that sword. All of them are forms of that devil's magic who have always served him. She explains that thousands of years ago, there was a wizard in this land. He was a very good man who could bring life to anything he touched. But one day he realized that he too was growing old and would eventually die. Fearing death, he decided to become immortal. He created a being named Koz who always stayed by his side. To achieve immortality, the wizard forged a magical sword. The plan was that during a solar eclipse, by placing a magical gem into the sword, he would become immortal. But Koz betrayed him. He dropped a huge stone on the wizard, killing him, and then used the same method to make himself immortal. Since then, the wizard has remained buried deep beneath the ground for thousands of years, filled with anger and revenge. Now he wants his sword back, which is currently with Evan. After this, the medical king arrives and says that they must go to the Dead Land. Only there will they find out how and when to destroy that wizard. However, reaching the Dead Land is not easy. They will have to travel a long and dangerous path. After this, they all begin their journey. On the other side, the 2 witches and their magical soldiers are chasing the moving hut. They finally catch it, but when they check inside, no one is there, which Galena orders the hut to be burned. Just then, another hut appears and crashes into the first one, allowing the group to escape. Meanwhile, Evan and his companions reach a massive rock, where they find 2 huge iron rings that no one is able to lift. The old witch takes out some magical berries from her bag, which give her immense strength. Cyrus notices this. Then the old witch and the warrior together pull the rings, and suddenly, a giant whale emerges from the water. It is revealed that what they thought was a rock was actually the whale's back. The whale then begins to fly, carrying them toward the Dead Land. During the journey, Evan secretly steals the witch's bag of magical berries. After traveling for a long time, they arrive near a snowy mountain. They get off the whale and continue on foot. Evan secretly eats some berries and, gaining great strength, lifts a huge rock to impress everyone, claiming that he is now worthy of becoming a king. As they continue, they reach a talking mountain. The mountain warns them to turn back, saying that no one who has entered beyond this point has ever returned alive. It tells them that the dead land begins here and that no one can proceed without answering its 3 questions. Questions that no one has ever been able to answer. Evan cleverly tricks the mountain and convinces it that he has answered all 3 questions. Impressed, the mountain gives him a glowing stone and allows him to pass, saying that he will find all his answers inside. Evan enters the mountain with the glowing stone, where it is completely dark. Suddenly he sees his father, King Aurelia, standing on a rock. Evan asks what he is doing there, and the king tells him that after Evan left, the wizard killed him and now he is dead. Evan says he has the glowing stone which can bring one dead person back to life. But his father refuses, saying that he has already lived his life and now it is Evan's responsibility to take care of the kingdom. Then the king summons Koz and tells Evan to take him to the dead land, as he can help defeat the wizard. In truth, Koz is the same being who betrayed and killed the wizard to gain immortality. After 5,000 years, Koz now wants to correct his mistake and free himself from the curse of immortality by helping to destroy the wizard. Evan becomes emotional and wants to take his father with him, but the king insists that Koz go instead and sends Evan away. Evan and Koz exit the mountain, where the others are shocked to see Koz with him. Meanwhile, the witches are trying to locate them. Galena creates a magical glowing entity and orders Varvara to track them down and return with the sword. On the other side, the group resumes their journey. Once again, Evan uses magical berries to gain strength and clears a path by knocking down obstacles, impressing everyone. The old witch asks Koz how to kill the wizard, but since it has been thousands of years, he struggles to remember. She repeatedly hits his head until he recalls something. He says that the stone he used to kill the wizard must be broken into pieces to destroy him. However, that stone can only be broken using the magical sword. Alicia reminds them that the sword is with Evan. Hearing this, Evan becomes worried and admits that the sword's powers have weakened because he used it repeatedly to create portals between worlds. This angers everyone. Evan walks away into the forest with the sword, regretting his actions. While thinking, he unknowingly drives the sword into the ground. The earth's energy restores the sword's power. To test it, Evan slices a rock in half and realizes that the sword is working again. He then eats all the remaining magical berries and places the sword under a heavy rock before resting. Meanwhile, Finnish stays awake to guard everyone, but suddenly he is struck by an arrow. It is revealed that Varvara has found them and attacks with her army. Alicia, Koz, and the others fight the magical soldiers. Evan tries to move the rock to retrieve his sword, but he can't because the effect of the berries has worn off, and he has none left. The others discover the bag of magical berries and realize that all of Evan's earlier feats of strength were due to the berries. The old witch becomes furious. Overwhelmed by the magical army, they are forced to retreat. Varvara allows them to escape because her goal is the sword. Her soldiers retrieve the sword from beneath the rock and Varvara takes it. However, a twist is revealed. Varvara wants to keep the sword for herself and become immortal, rather than give it to Galena. Meanwhile, the group is hiding in the forest. Finnish is badly injured and his condition is worsening. Koz suggests they take him to a city. Angry with Evan, they leave him behind. Evan follows them, but a landslide separates him from the group, and they abandon him. Evan and the creature return to the place where they were attacked earlier. There, Evan finds the sword's sheath. Meanwhile, Varvara is traveling with the sword when Galena confronts her. They clash and the sword falls somewhere in the forest. Galena accuses Varvara of betrayal, but Varvara refuses to serve the wizard anymore. Galena uses magic on her, taking control again, and sends her soldiers to find the sword. Elsewhere, the demonic creature that escaped earlier finds the fallen sword and takes it. Eventually, it reaches Evan and gives him the sword. Happy, Evan returns to White City. There, the city is under attack by the wizard's magical army. Evan begins fighting them with his sword. Soon, the others arrive and use a potion made by the old witch to heal Finnish. His wounds begin to heal instantly. Together, they fight the magical forces. The creature leads them to a massive stone, suggesting it might be the one that needs to be destroyed. Evan tries to cut it, but nothing happens. Suddenly, a soldier beheads Koz. Even then, Koz's head continues speaking and points toward the Real stone. As Evan moves toward it, Koz tries to reattach his head, but Galena arrives and uses her magic to throw both him and the creature away. Just as Evan is about to strike the stone, Koz remembers everything and shouts that destroying the stone will free the wizard, but it is too late. Evan drives the sword into the stone, releasing the wizard. A blinding light spreads everywhere. The wizard, now free, is furious and attacks Evan. As he is about to kill him, Koz intervenes and begs the wizard to punish him instead, admitting his betrayal and saying that immortality was a curse, not a blessing. The wizard ignores him and traps him underground. The others attack the wizard, but he overpowers them and begins burying everyone alive using his magic. Evan tries to fight back but fails. At that moment, Evan has a vision of his father who tells him that the earth gives them their strength. They are born from it. Evan regains his determination and draws power from the ground. He breaks free, attacks the wizard's magical vines, and declares that if the earth gives him power, it must also empower the wizard. Using this realization, Evan pulls the wizard out of the ground, weakening him. He then uses his sword to open a portal and drags the wizard into the human world. Moscow. The wizard tries to draw power from the ground there, but Evan tells him that this is not his world. In Moscow, the ground is covered with buildings and deep basements, making it difficult for him to access the earth's energy. The wizard breaks into the ground but grows weaker. Before dying, the wizard declares that he will return one day and destroy both worlds. Then he turns into ashes. With his death, his magic weakens in the other world, and everyone buried underground emerges safe. Evan returns through the portal. The great wizard restores the soldiers who were under the enemy's control. Galena warns them not to consider this a victory and escapes. In the final scene, the people of the city accept Evan as their king, and everyone lives happily. With this, the film comes to an end.